felt like I was such a punk last time. Okay, we're ready for that. Dude, I love this. Somebody's already using this for their podcast, but I don't care. We'll make it better. This is the song of Plausible Foolishness, bro. You feeling this right now, bro?
For sure.
Are we streaming right
I'm
now?
always feeling... Yeah, we're streaming.
We're
All of this is going...
Good. Just let me know what the link is.
I sent you the... Yeah, I sent you the...
I'm gonna just go live because we already know what we're talking about. That didn't work. Hold on.
You ready?
Oh, I'm ready, baby. And we're live streaming, baby.
We're live now?
Oh yeah, we're live.
Excellent. Alright. Let's turn off the music.
I was just gonna let it run, man. I was just gonna let it play, man. I was just gonna let it go.
Oh, yes. Welcome. Welcome to Plausible Foolishness. I am your host, Matthew, and I've got opinions on stuff.
Hey, what's going on? I am Ray, and I've got opinions on things as well. Welcome to Plausible Foolishness, baby. So we've got tons of things going on right now. First of all, we had some intro music. That's new. Holy crap.
Very new.
We've got overlays now. Holy crap. We're streaming live on Facebook right now. So here's the deal. If you want the real deal content, you gotta flip over to YouTube. It is in the description box right now, so just click on that YouTube bad boy. Head over to YouTube right now. You can watch us live and watch us stream. We're gonna interact mostly on the YouTube deal, but I keep an eye on Facebook for now just to make sure that we are all on the same page and we're ready to rock, man. But we got an incredible show for us today. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think
this might be our best show ever. It might be our best one. This is number 25.
Number 25.
25?
One more week till
half a year.
Half a year.
Are you kidding me?
Half a year.
This is insane. We're blowing up faster than the universe, man. So, but make sure you follow us on all of our Facebook. Where are we at? We're on Facebook.
Let me show you.
Let's see. Just show us what we got, man. We got overlays. If you're going to YouTube right now, oh my goodness, we're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook Live until they kick us off like Alex Jones. I mean, it's crazy. I'm just kidding with you. But literally, we're everywhere right now. So make sure that you check us out. Check over the overlays. We got a lot of fun stuff. And if you're watching us live on Facebook, switch over to YouTube again. And here's the deal. We want to thank our Patreons. Like, unbelievable. Like, when Matt told me that we had some more donations last week, dude, this morning, today I'm just so fired up. I was fired up about life. We're growing this thing. We've got, like, music and overlays and YouTube, and we're just exploding quicker than the universe can expand. You know what I mean? So it's crazy.
Yeah, and we couldn't do it without the support of the people at Patreon.
100%, man. So we appreciate you guys.
Our patrons.
Patrons.
The Rubes. The Rubes.
The Rube Nation, baby.
Yeah.
Rube Nation.
So come be a part of the Rube Nation.
Oh, man.
And, help us grow this thing.
Heck yeah.
Also, share this. Share this video. Share it with your friends. Share it on all the socials.
Oh, yeah.
And all the medias.
Again, man. And if you're streaming with us live on Facebook, again, flip over to YouTube if you want the real deal spiel. There's like a real deal stuff going on over on YouTube. Flip over to that bad boy. That's where the fun's happening today. So we got a lot of things going on today, my friend.
Yeah, we got a lot of things.
A lot to talk about.
I agree.
Before we get into that, though, can we talk about your week so far? How's your week, man?
It's been pretty good.
Good, man.
Yeah.
Can we talk about your little kid at all on the show? Because that is the most impressive story. Okay, so Herculean. What would you consider a Herculean feat of strength?
Well, he did in the stories, he did the
9 trials. How many?
12 labors.
12 labors.
The 12 labors of Hercules. Killed a Hydra.
Yeah.
He defeated the Nemean lion, whose hide couldn't be penetrated by weapons.
Yep.
He
did some
slept.
things with Amazon.
He slept with the daughters of one king, and there were like 100 of them, and he did it in one night.
Oh my goodness!
Apparently,
that's crazy. That's Herculean. Yeah. Now, here's the deal. Snow, I think, is
that's my youngest daughter.
She's on another level now. Yeah. She survived salmonella. What happened with this?
Well, she's been having some nasty bowel movements.
Nasty ones.
Yeah. Things that shouldn't be in there
are there,
and way more. Like yesterday, every diaper was a poopy diaper.
Jeez,
it was rough on my wife. I was at work, but we had taken her to the doctor because obviously this wasn't normal.
Sure.
And then they got back to us with the results of their tests, and she had salmonella.
That's crazy. But now she's fine.
Yeah, no fever. Pure energy the entire time, just
oh my gosh,
just the runs, and and not even like there were bad things, but whatever. Anyway, it was something to be concerned about, but other than that, there was no other sign. And today she's fine.
So you're saying
she's a little beast.
So she survived a nasty virus, and now she's fine.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I'm saying.
It's almost like our nation, almost.
Except that salmonella is a bacteria.
Yeah, it's a bacteria. Fair enough. It's almost like our nation, dealing with the sickness, the lunacy that's called liberalism, that's contracting all over the world right now. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy.
It's like worse than salmonella, almost. You know what I mean?
It's much more destructive.
100%. So
more people die from it, I'd say.
I know, man. So there's some wackiness going on over the New York Times, I heard over the week. Is that what's going on, man?
Yeah.
What happened, man?
Yeah.
What's going on over there?
Well, they hired a lovely young lady.
Nice.
Named Sarah Gian to be part of the editorial staff.
Great. Minority hire, that's good.
She's a real peach.
She's a peach,
yeah,
right?
She's awesome.
She loves all people, right?
Well, it depends on what you mean by all.
Well, I mean like every person. She loves everybody, right?
Well, okay, but...
Because that's what the left's all about is love, right?
Yes.
They're going to beat us with love.
But here's the thing. Yeah, their rage is love.
Rage is love, yes. So, right?
Here's the thing, though. There's a certain, oh gosh, what? I guess we would call it a race of people.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That to her
Race,
are
what's that?
non-people.
Wait, what's race again? What is that?
Race is a biological descriptor, let's say.
Oh, it describes people. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Based on like your melanin count, is that what it is?
Yeah, things like that.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Biology.
Facial structure.
Okay.
The things that the way our genetic code turns into.
The thing that defines us, is that what they're trying to say? That defines us?
They would say it defines us. Yes,
oh, okay,
yes.
gotcha.
And so to her, to this lovely young lady, there's a certain race of people that are not really people.
Whoa.
Or at least that's what we would assume from tweets like this.
What?
Now, if you can read that, it says
what?
This is a couple of her. Yeah, let me transition. This is a couple of her tweets. Oh man!
Wait, tell me. Can we read this? Or are we gonna get kicked off of YouTube for reading her actual tweets?
I think we're okay.
Okay, cool.
Oh man, it's kind of sick how much joy I get out of being cruel to old white men.
She said black people, right?
No, she said white.
White people?
White? Yeah.
That's shocking. Liberals attacking white people?
Yeah, no.
That never happens, man. That's crazy.
That's not true. Or this other gem, dumbass.
Whoa.
Yeah, I said a bad word.
Whoa, it's okay. You're reading it, so you're allowed to say it. You're allowed to say if you're reading what they're saying. Dumb A.
Effing white people. Marking up the internet with their opinions like dogs peeing on the hydrants.
So what you guys go out and pee on hydrants? Is that what she's trying to say?
I think that is what she's trying to say.
So she's
she's trying to say that we're terrible people. She also mentioned that we live underground. We only deserve to live underground like goblins, and we stopped mating, so we're dying out, and this makes her happy or something.
You know what we need is a liberal scoreboard, because didn't they say like a couple months ago it was evil to equate human beings to animals? Remember when Trump said that MS-13 were animals?
Yeah, the divine spark.
And then the divine spark conversation by the Democratic leaders. Mm-hmm. But now they're defending somebody who did the exact same thing, and that's okay.
Well, okay. Well, as one person who came on the Don Lemon show said, you see, she's not really racist. These aren't racist tweets because...
Stop. Well, if you discriminate against somebody of any race, that's racism, is it not?
No.
What?
As a matter of fact, it's not.
Wait a minute. What?
Well, see, okay, there's prejudice, and then there's racism.
Wait.
See, racism equals prejudice plus power.
Seriously?
That's what they said, and that has been the narrative for quite some time.
And people believe
that
this
if you don't have power, which apparently no minority does in America.
Okay, fair enough.
You can't be racist.
So wait a minute. So you can literally hate white people and not be racist. How's that
absolutely.
possible?
You're prejudiced, clearly. Yeah, they would say you're prejudiced,
but racist.
You're not racist. See, because racism is a power structure.
Oh,
you know.
So like what they're doing in South Africa, that would technically be racist because they're literally taking people's white farmers' property and giving them back to black people. It's in their constitution.
No. Well, they're moving forward. They're moving forward on that.
So that would be racist.
So it's going to happen
because blacks have power in South Africa.
No, they've been the oppressed minority. This is actually this is the way to make amends for the horrors of apartheid, which were horrible.
So, but it makes sense to be racist towards people, but they're not being racist.
Well, yeah,
even though the majority and hold the power in South Africa. What?
But they're just making things right from the past.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Fair enough.
In that case, no, obviously, because let's break it down to a simpler way to view this.
Yeah, because I'm stupid. You got to break this down.
Okay,
for me.
So if the left wants it,
yes,
it's not racist.
Got it. So if the left agrees with it, it's not racist.
Yeah, there you go.
That makes complete sense if you're a lunatic left. Make sure you follow us on YouTube if you are checking us out on Facebook right now. But, like, I mean, it's interesting to me that there's so many leaps of logic here, right? So we're now, prejudice and racism are two different things. Prejudice is okay, but racism's not.
Well,
that's what they're saying. There's a difference, right?
Yeah, there is definitely a difference.
The fundamental, like racism is a subset of prejudice. Prejudice is
racism is the true evil. Prejudice is,
sort of evil.
Yeah, because
and it's okay to be prejudiced
because everything's a power struggle. Everything in their world is a power struggle.
Gotcha.
Everything.
So
they can't. That's the only way they look at it. Power, not power. That's it. There's only two ways. I mean, for people who cry about black and white,
sure,
being a myth and everything's gray, their world is black and white. There's those with power and there's those without power, and that's all there is to it.
So what happens when they have the power and it reverses? Then it's okay because they have the power?
Well, if they have the power, then they're obviously the just, moral people who will use that power wisely to make everything equal for the masses.
Does that not seem like a logical, complete cluster F? Does that make sense? Like if you think about that, how in the world can you say, okay, well, prejudice is okay? Well, I get where they're coming from because it is a power struggle, right? So they're going to justify prejudice, quote unquote. Some might say racist by definition, discriminating against white people as racist. They're going to justify it to get their means and then continue that down the road. So here's the problem. Once they have power, because eventually they may have power, who knows? You know what I mean? They kind of have a stranglehold on media in Hollywood and other things. But the reality of the situation is, then when we cry the same logic the other way, they're going to shoot us down because, God knows that we're wrong because we have hate speech.
Well, there'll never be a situation where they are considered to be in power because then that destroys their narrative. There can be no situation where they actually have power or else they can't keep going.
Well, socialism would give them that place. Like Venezuela and all those beautiful places that socialism worked really well. But at the end of the day, that's the end.
That is the goal.
That's the goal.
That is the goal. But they'll still have to create a boogeyman. There'll always be the boogeyman that they have to fight against in order to keep their,
Yes.
I mean, and we saw the same thing in Venezuela.
Yeah.
When things weren't working, it was because of America.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, so here's
or whatever minority, whatever
yeah
boogeyman they want to make of their ethnic population.
Yes.
I mean, that's what the Nazis did with the Jews in Germany.
Yeah.
It's what, the Russians did with the Jews. The Jews have had it bad for...
It's like what Facebook, Apple, and YouTube just did to Alex Jones. So, they make the big boogeyman. So here's my thing. So at some point, when is the logic of, dare I say, logic and morality go together? When does that happen?
Never.
At what point?
Don't you know that logic is a tool of the man?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Keep you down.
I forgot. It's oppressive. It's the patriarchy to use your brain.
It's toxic masculinity.
God forbid. So here, I'm just confused. I just think that at the end of the day, if you're watching us live on Facebook, switch over to YouTube. We got better overlays. But I keep saying that because I got to encourage you.
And here's the thing: we look at that like that's a joke.
Yeah.
That logic is toxically masculine. And that it's a tool of the patriarchy. And all this junk.
Men are bad. White people are bad.
And logic
Christians
is bad.
are bad. Yeah.
But it is their ideology.
Yeah.
That is the logical leap. You're using your logic as a weapon here to obtain power in this conversation.
What?
That's what they're saying.
Yeah. But they're not saying, because here's the thing that irks me, is it's a deception. They are trying to use this as a weapon and then turn around and say, well, because we're not in power, this is why we're using this. So here's the issue. The thing that I love about Trump, and here's the deal. I'm the Trump supporter on this broadcast here at Plausible Foolishness. I love the fact that Trump's at least exposing the truth of what they want to be, because now they're out and out just saying they want to be socialists. Now they're saying, hey, we want socialism. Because really, the grab for socialism, is that not a grab for power? Is that not just what it is? Is it not and what the tactics they're using now are Solinsky, Obama, to the letter, ways of acquiring power by using morals and using logic against the people that are upholding logic.
Well, they're just playing the game.
Yeah.
And the game is the game of power.
And it's a guilt game.
Everything. Well, yeah, I mean,
and people are getting guilted.
Well, they're using our Judeo-Christian values
against us,
our background and our history and the culture that's been developed on that foundation.
Yep.
And using it against us to obtain their power, because like I said, everything's a power struggle.
Sure.
So they're just playing the game, and they're playing it better.
So,
but that's not really the only game. That's not really how the world works.
So this is what I find ironic. So she can say that she loves picking on old white people. She loves doing all this crazy stuff. Yet they zero platform, and we're going to talk about this later on. Guys like Alex Jones, who talk about other things. This is the double standard to me that blows me away. And then on top of that, I think that you have some interesting things about Candace Owens that you had later.
Oh
on.
yeah, she.
If you don't know Candace Owens, she's the
communications director for Turning Point USA.
Now, for the people that are not hip to it, Candace Owens sounds very white, but she's not white. She happens to be of a higher melanin count. She happens to be an African American, which is, I know that's crazy to think, but there are African Americans on the right, and we're growing fast, apparently. We're doubling in popularity with Trump. But anyways, back to what you were saying.
Well, yeah. Well, it's been a couple
We're rising
things.
up.
She was at some conference for Turning Point with the guy who founded it, Charlie Kirk.
Yes.
They're trying to eat at a restaurant, and then all these protesters show up, and
yes.
They basically get kicked out, and basically they're calling her a fascist, and all this
Candace
stuff.
Owens is a fascist. Yes, yes.
And
she's a minority and a woman.
And she's a minority and a woman.
So
I mean,
based on their logic,
so what is the logic there?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer a question that we have on Facebook Live with Chris Johnson here. I'm going to help you out with this, big dog. So logic is a set standard of rules that we all kind of agree upon, right? We agree that there's good and bad.
It's something that has been worked out over centuries.
Yes. So if the goalpost moves all the time just based on the situation, we call that situational ethics. True or false?
Yeah, situational.
So it changes
ethics.
for the situation. Now logic would say, okay, discrimination's bad across the board. We would all agree upon that discrimination's bad. If I judge this guy because he happens to be a Jewish guy with a bowling shirt on,
it depends on the type of discrimination too.
Okay, gotcha. So
because we discriminate all the time.
Well, let's just keep it simple. We'll keep it simple for the buffoons out there. Okay, so we're gonna keep it simple. If I judge
racial discrimination,
if I judge you and keep you from working, or no platform you, or not hire you, or treat you terrible just because of your melanin count, we would all agree that that's wrong. True or false? I think every person would agree with that. Even liberals would agree with that. Okay, cool. Now, so if a conservative does that, everybody would agree that that's wrong and we shouldn't do that, right? Now, when a liberal does it, in this case, what's this lady's name that's for the New York Times?
Sarah Jeong.
When she says that she hates white people, and she says that she loves picking on old white people, and she says that all white people are bad, essentially. That's the nicest way of putting it. We can put it up on YouTube if you're following us on YouTube if you want to see the proof of that. Logically, that would be wrong. However, she's a lefty. And if she's a lefty, that's okay because she is an oppressed minority. So now the logic and the shifts, the true logic, morality shifts because we want to move the goalpost. That would be like me saying, well, it's okay to be racist because, well, they're rich, so they can do that. That makes no freaking sense whatsoever. But, whatever. That's called logic, and, we try to use that around here. Does that make sense? So here's the funny thing. If the right uses it, just so you know, this is how the world works. It's bad. If the left does it, it's good. Does that make any sense at all? That's kind of plausibly well, actually more foolish than plausible. Yeah. So this is what I'm talking about with logic. When we're talking about logic, logic is logic. It's true. It's what is true.
It's a way of determining the truth.
It's a way of determining the truth. And if it's illogical and it's situational ethics, there's no basis of truth because it just shifts depending on the situation. Now, a lot of people say, that's good. That's a good thing. No, it's not. Murder is murder is murder. People don't want to believe that because people like killing babies nowadays. Does that make sense? That's what they're about on the left. You know what I mean? And I get that. That's the left. They don't have a logical standpoint because the basis of logic is morality. Did I just say morality? And morality requires objective truth. And it also actually requires even more so absolute truth. And I know that that's a hard one for the left to swallow, but there are absolute truths in the world. The sky's blue. Sorry, grass is green. Not because, now if the grass is oppressed, the left would say that it's not necessarily green, it's whatever they feel like or identify at that time, but then you get deplatformed and all that fun stuff. But that's what we're talking about with logic. It doesn't shift just because the left does it versus the right. But that's the funny thing, where you can have people like, what's the girl on CNN that made fun of gays forever, and then she tried to say that somebody hacked her account, and she didn't. She actually wrote that she hated gays, but now she's on CNN, and that's okay. Now we're creating caveats which don't make any logical sense whatsoever with normal thinking human beings, and we're making it okay. We're trying to demonize people like, good old Donald Trump for whatever. We're trying to demonize everybody on the right, yet the left can do things that are worse, and it's bad. Because here's the flip side. If this same lady would have said that about black people, would she be hired at the New York Times?
No.
Not at all.
That's the thing, is Candace
Not
Owens.
at all. Because logically, that kind of talk shouldn't be had, according to the left, because guess what? Free speech doesn't really exist anymore, which we'll get to later on today.
And here's the thing. Candace Owens took her tweets word for word, but replaced whites with black.
And Candace Owens is a black girl. So
she got suspended from Twitter for it.
Yeah, so...
They eventually reversed that, just so you know. They eventually reversed that and apologized and whatever. But ultimately, Sarah John's tweets are up without a care.
Yeah.
And Candace Owens just took her words and switched the color spectrum.
Weird.
And she got suspended.
That's so
almost
weird.
Immediately.
So crazy.
Huh.
But the flip side, the Asian lady in this case didn't get kicked off for saying that about a white people.
Yeah, because it's
okay.
Because she's on the left.
Candace
Candace Owens spews evil, hateful, conservative views.
See, here's the thing. Logic requires absolute truth. When you shift it because you feel like it, it is not logical at that point. Literally, that destroys the idea of logic. The moment that logic moves, it doesn't exist anymore. Does that make sense? It just doesn't. Well, I murdered that guy because I was poor, so I just had to murder this guy. It's still murder. I hate to break it to you. That logic doesn't shift just because you feel like it, and that's the lunacy that we're pointing out, that we're losing our mind about. And I'm not going to steal our second half of the show when we have some fun overlays, so make sure you switch over to YouTube and check us out so you can see the fun stuff. But that's kind of where we're at, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, this is the ridiculousness that we point out on Plausible Foolishness every single week, and we're going to bring this up all the time because here's the deal. As they start deplatforming people, as they start kicking people off for quote-unquote hate speech, because God knows that the problem is this, and this is us crazy conservatarians, us that actually believe in the First Amendment, even if I don't agree with something, in this country you have the right to say what you feel. And at the end of the day, we believe as conservatarians, maybe I'm talking for both of us, that the war of ideas will win out. The idea that racism is bad will eventually win out. That's what happened. Racism.
Yeah, if we can actually have that conversation.
Yeah. The idea is this. If you've got this crazy dude who's spouting all this racist stuff out there, who can I give an example of that the left loves? Oh, yeah, Louis Farrakhan. If Farrakhan can say that, he can literally say every day on his YouTube channel that Jews are a Satanistic cabal of Zion or something like that, and we let that go, but yet we jump Alex Jones because he calls out Islamic terrorism, and he calls out the fact that we're doing what was it?
Yeah, there was like a transgender convention focused on
for kids. Then we've lost the concept of free speech, and free speech is not dependent on whether you like it or not. Free speech is free speech.
Mm-hmm. It's actually the time we need to defend it the most is when we don't like what we're hearing.
Some would think that, but at the end of the day, the thing is this: people are rejoicing that Alex Jones is deplatformed. People are rejoicing that Candace Owens is getting kicked off of Twitter. But the funny thing is when it flips and it hits you, we're in 1984, kids, and Big Brother is watching you, man. Sorry. Have you read that book? That's a fun one.
I haven't. I need to.
It's really boring, but it's really good at the same time. So it's an incredibly boring book because it was that Orwell. I think it wrote it, but it is awesome, and it talks about the stuff that we're going through right now. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, pretty much.
But on a positive note, so we got a little plausible. Now we're going to get a little foolish because I'm going to get back to this. Oh my goodness, who's on our screen with?
Not yet.
Oh, whoa, not yet. I'm so excited.
And then you get there.
Wait. I'm just pumped up.
Yeah, you're pumped.
Dude, I just want to see it on YouTube because if you're watching us on Facebook, you switch over to YouTube because it's way better. There's some rumors going on in the wrestling world. And now, me and Matt happen to be big wrestling fans. We live in Orlando. We're in the hotbed of wrestling. And we got the Mae Young Classics going on right now as we speak. Yeah, right now as we speak. I wish I could go. It's okay. We'll get there, man. Yeah, we're going to have a live show there one day. Don't worry about it. It's going to be awesome.
You think so?
And here's the thing. NXT is taking over the world. Arguably one of the most popular wrestlers right now on the WWE brand could be said is Adam Cole. Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Cole, baby. And here's the thing. He's an indie darling that came over to NXT, and now he's taking over NXT. And he has the second most important belt over there on NXT, and he's making the black and gold brand amazing. But there's rumors afloat, my friend. I have a conspiracy theory. I have some theories that are going on.
I think it's kind of...
I've got some conspiracy theories. So we watch a program called, what's it called?
It's called Being the Elite.
Being the Elite on YouTube, which you check out. It's a lot of fun. You should check that bad boy out.
I love it.
It was a great episode. Great episode. They announced all the All In stuff. They're going to be streaming platform.
All In's going to be great. They're streaming. They're streaming it on Fight and pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But also the first hour, called All In 0 Hour, is coming on WGN America. That's kind of a big deal.
That's like big deal. That Chicago's like
because so there's wrestling on TV all the time, except that this whole show was put together by 3 wrestlers. It's not there's no promotion backing this.
Yeah.
The 3 wrestlers put up their money and then sold out 10,000 seats in 30 minutes.
Which has not been done by
which hasn't been done since WCW, but it hasn't been done by anybody else than WWE since WCW existed.
It's like the little guys are fighting against the machine.
Yeah. But okay, so that's huge. And then that's led to things like New Japan and ROH booking Madison Square Garden the weekend of WrestleMania in New York.
Which is awesome.
That's huge.
Yes.
So they're doing the G1 Supercard. So you got Supercard of Honor.
I love it.
And then the G1 Climax merging to become the G1 Supercard.
It's beautiful.
That's beautiful. That's gonna be
beautiful.
It's gonna be a great show.
Beautiful.
But so there's this is incredible stuff. But on the latest, Being the Elite.
What?
The stars of Being the Elite. The Young Bucks.
There's so much bicep flexion going on YouTube right now. You're not watching it. I love it. I love it.
The Young Bucks.
They gave a lot of kudos to a certain town.
Yeah, so they're the very end of the show.
Very end. Spoiler.
They're talking about how Marty Scurll just bought a home in Orlando. They're standing outside of Full Sail Live, which is where NXT is shot.
Well, that's weird. Yeah. Right down the road from us.
Yeah, and Marty Scurll, the villain
himself
of the Bullet Club. So they say that he just bought a home there. Apparently, his girlfriend is in NXT.
Yes.
Do you know?
I have no clue who she is, but I'm gonna find. I'm gonna do some research.
We're gonna do some research.
We're gonna do some plausible foolishness research on this, man.
And then earlier in the episode, they'd been talking about how the Young Bucks haven't re-signed their contracts with ROH yet.
They haven't re-signed ROH.
It's coming up. Yeah, it's coming up. And they're saying all their thanks to they've just been on a tour of Florida, and they're saying all their thanks to the fans, everywhere, and then
Nick Jackson,
Jacksonville, whatever, blah blah blah, and then Orlando, especially Orlando, Orlando, and you've got some speculation on why they said that.
Yeah, what's funny is, I've got a conspiracy theory. Yes. Not just an opinion, I have a conspiracy theory. Here's the thing. They're coming to NXT, baby. The Bucks are coming to NXT. Book it now. There's no more Alex Jones on TV, so I'm going to make the bold predictions here. The news now. This is what it is. Bucks are coming to NXT. Now, before Matt goes on a tirade about how this is a bad decision, I'm going to give you why this is a good decision. Okay. I'm going to give you the pros first. We're going to get you the good news first before we get you the bad news. If you're watching on Facebook Live, switch over to YouTube. Am I plugging that enough today?
Yeah. No, it's good. We need.
Here is
come over to YouTube. This is where the audience is.
Is a good idea for the Bucks to come over. Name the biggest star on Raw right now. Go.
Well, they want it to be Roman Reigns.
But who is it?
Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman. Okay. Who's the next best person there? That people are like, oh my gosh, I want to see this person really bad.
Asuka, maybe. Alexa Bliss.
Maybe. The Red Brand, in my opinion, no offense, and I love Braun Strowman. Met him in real life. He lives here in Orlando. Great dude. He drives a really big white truck. Great beard. Okay, and he's jacked. He makes me look like a small human being. I wish we had get these hands over just kidding. Right? Here's the deal. Raw is not that strong right now. SmackDown actually has been beating them like a couple weeks in programming and stuff like that, which is crazy.
For sure.
The
SmackDown
Blue brand
stories are really good.
Yeah, SmackDown right now, number 1 star in SmackDown is what? Is who?
Daniel Bryan.
Daniel Bryan, and he's not even in the starring role. He's feuding with The Miz, who's my boy. AJ Styles is the champ, but he doesn't have a lot of, he's going to have a great fight with...
it'll be a great wrestling match, but they haven't done, like as good a job with the feud that's going on.
But here's the thing.
Still,
in wrestling, it's all about the sizzle. Who's got the sauce right now?
Mm-hmm.
The sauce is the Elite. It's Cody Rhodes. It's the Young Bucks. It's Kenny Omega. It's those guys right there that are on YouTube right now. It's those guys. They've got the sauce. And the reality is, the guy who has the most sauce on NXT, which arguably, if you're a wrestling fan, is the better of the 3 shows, is Adam Cole. Who Adam Cole was an underling in the Bullet Club. He wasn't even the top guy. And he's stealing the show right now on NXT with the undisputed
But he was the top guy.
era.
He was on TNA, right?
He was. Well, yeah. No.
So he was the top guy there.
Yeah, no. He was the top guy on ROH because he held the belt in ROH. But it's still the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
If I'm WWE and I want eyeballs on my NXT product, I'm sure as crap not sending them to 205 Live. I'm definitely not sending them to Raw because it's 3 hours of programming. It's mind-numbing right now. And all the people that come up from NXT that go to Raw disappear. I'm not sending them to the Blue brand. The Blue brand's fun. I'm sending them to the Black and Gold brand where they're going to get lots of time. They could spend a year, even 2 maybe, just tearing up that division. Could you imagine the rivalries between them and the Undisputed Era? Could you imagine them going against War Machine? Could you imagine going against, they're the War Raiders on WWE. Sorry, I'm using the old stuff. I'm such a mark. But can you imagine the amount of them holding the NXT belts, traveling the world, going to UK, really promoting the brand, and then bringing them up on pay-per-views? It would blow it away. But they get that exposure, and they don't have to compete with the big guys and stuff like that. But it just blows up their brand, and they sell a bunch of merch. Those guys sell merch. Mm-hmm. You watch any NXT show, any wrestling show, you see Super Kick Party shirts, you see Bullet Club Party, you see the Young Bucks. These guys in NXT are going to make fat paychecks, time to develop their storylines, and really get into the WWE system, and they won't get buried at the bottom of the card in SmackDown or something like that. Does that make sense? These guys are marquee guys. They need to be in marquee positions right from the jump, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree with all of those statements, except
you're rebuttaling that? That was perfect. That was flawless execution.
It was not flawless.
Flawless
because
execution.
You keep talking about how they're going to get pushed to the bottom of a card, but they're going to eventually go to Raw and SmackDown, and that's going to happen.
But here's the thing. If they do it right...
If who does it right?
WWE. I'm hoping by that time. The thing is this. The Bucks are not going to go over there unless they have some type of creative control. If they go over now, where Triple H is in control of NXT, how much longer can Vince live? Let's get real. How much longer can he live? I mean, the thing is, listen, he may be some Illuminati guy who bathes in the blood of the young or something like that, keeps him up. Just kidding. That's complete conjecture. Not true. Total foolishness, not plausible. But, but for the Rubes, how much longer can he live? And here's the deal. They got Paul Heyman helping out with the writing staff. They've got...
apparently Paul Heyman's been seen around. He was doing a conference at NXT.
Yeah, man. Paul Heyman's helping out. You got Triple H. You've got the creator of ECW. You have the creator of basically what we know now as NXT. They're eventually going to take over. And when they take over, they've got the Bucks coming with them. And here's the thing. Why do you think Kenny Omega's waiting so long to come over? He's got the IWGP belt. He's doing he is the 5-star machine, the cleaner, the man, the myth, the legend. He's going to wait until he has control. Because guess what? You think here's the deal. Why is Adam Cole killing it right now? Because Triple H is in control of NXT and he's letting Adam Cole be Adam Cole.
Sure.
He's letting the Undisputed Era be the Undisputed Era. They're the it factor in NXT right now. There's no denying it. It's plausible. It's not even foolish at that point.
Yeah, I understand that, but so they're gonna walk out of All In.
Yes.
And then just go to work for the man.
Listen,
that doesn't make any sense to me.
But think about it this way. They've made a statement with All In. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Bucks.
And they can ride that way for a long time. I think
they could. But how old are the Bucks?
I don't know. They're young still.
They may be in their 30s. Let's Google search this. How old are Matt and Nick Jackson? We got to figure this out, man. We're gonna look it up for you on Plausible Foolishness right now. How old are the Young Bucks? I love this. I'm excited. Young Bucks are, let's figure this out. Oh man, I'm so excited.
And I think Nick just had a birthday.
Nick just had a birthday with the Luigi. Okay, they were born in 85 and 89, so they're 33 and 29 right now. 33 and 29.
Yeah.
They could ride the wave for a while, but guess what? WWE's not going to want them when they're old and washed up, my friend.
Are you
Get your
kidding
money
me?
now. Get your money.
Kidding
But
me?
here's the thing: if WWE doesn't work, he can do what Daniel Bryan's going to do anyways, which is walk at the end of his contract anyways, and go back to the Indies and control what they're doing. I'm just saying, I think they should test the waters now. They're hotter than they've ever been before. They've proved everything to the world.
I mean, NXT is a great place for them.
Yes. Bro,
every single call up this round has been terrible.
They botched it.
They botched them all.
Yes.
Andrade Cien Almas is kind of doing something okay.
Yes.
Sort of.
Well, what about Drew McIntyre? McIntyre's doing okay.
Yeah, McIntyre's doing all right, but he's really, I mean...
But he was a WWE guy. Then he went indie, and then he came back.
Mm-hmm.
These guys they can go anywhere they want, and they're going to be successful. If they go to NXT, and if they get up to the main card, if
they
it
will
sucks,
be
they can
successful.
switch back over. That's how it works.
But I'm just hoping that they don't come over and become this watered down...
But
you
the
know,
thing
like
is,
something like Balor Club.
Yes,
Ugh.
I don't think that they're going to come over unless they had control of what's going on.
I wouldn't.
You know what I mean?
If I were them, that
100%.
would be like that. No, we're being the elite. We are the Young Bucks. This is what we're doing.
This is who we are.
This is who we are. We're not.
Because the thing is, they have the deal with Hot Topic. I highly doubt that they're walking away from their deal with Hot Topic.
Right?
I highly doubt that they're walking away from the pro wrestling tease. They're working something out where they can get over there. Because you think about it this way. And the reason why, and this is my other point, why they made that happen. AJ Styles owns the rights to the Phenomenal One logo, right? He owns the lot. He came over. He was phenomenal. That has always been AJ Styles. So he got to keep who he was coming over, and he's making money from WWE, and he's making money from his merch because that's a trademark deal as well. The Bucks can do the same thing, milk WWE's fame, and get even bigger. Than
it would be nice if they were still Bullet Club.
Oh, Bullet Club everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
And
ROH, Ring of Honor, PWG. I'd love it. I would be.
Yeah.
I'm just jacked up about that, man.
If Bullet Club became a three promo brand, that would be great.
Done. I'm just saying.
We'll see.
I'm just saying, man. At one time they helped. I'm just saying, man. I think it'd be beautiful. It would be a beautiful time, my friend. I'm telling you.
I'm afraid.
I know.
I'm afraid because I'm not confident in the WWE's handling of all this junk.
Now, before we jump back to plausible stuff, again, we make sure
NXT they'll be fine.
Oh yeah,
but how long does that last? You know,
as long as they need to make it last.
As long as who needs to make it last?
Triple H.
Because ultimately they still work for them. They still work for them.
You have to have.
And so they get called up because Matt and Nick Jackson are the hotness.
Yes.
They get called up, and then it's like, we're going to have a stale feud with,
Fandango and
the Fashion Police,
totally makes
Ascension,
sense.
and it's going to be like...
The thing is...
I mean, look at the revival. The WWE doesn't care about tag teams either.
No.
Now, in NXT, they do. There's lots of great stuff going on with tag teams.
Yes.
I mean, gosh, man. Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch versus the Undisputed Era. What an awesome match.
Time out.
So good.
Time out.
And they're like, I had no idea who these guys were.
If they're Mustache Mountain, are we Beard Valley?
Oh my God, Mustache.
Are we Beard Valley?
Beard Valley.
Are we Beard Valley? Is that what?
Beard Valley.
Beard Valley, bro. Beard Valley. Just thinking about it. Just thinking about it. Just plausible. A little bit foolish, but a little plausible. But here's the deal.
Beard Canyon.
Beard Canyon.
I don't know.
So the last thing I want to talk about with wrestling this week is Tama Tonga getting suspended by New Japan. Like, first of all, that's a work, and I just want to give it up to Kyle Steve that gave me that those memes over Instagram. That's totally a work. He's totally working that to death. That's a work, and I like it.
I mean, I read somewhere that part of it was he did some kayfabe things with the littering.
Yeah,
and littering is a huge no-no
in
over in Japan.
Yeah,
so,
did you see the video?
Some of it is not so much. Oh. I don't know if it's totally working.
Yeah,
or if it's I don't know.
He's in a Japanese train station. Tama Tonga takes a sip of Coke and he like looks around and he's like, "Meh, throws the can over his shoulder, and then just walks away. So I thought it was just a work, but man, if they take that serious in Japan,
well, they do take littering serious.
Littering serious in Japan.
They literally take littering seriously.
So talk about just the equivalent of littering, of litter, excrement, crap. Here's my thing. So if you're following us on YouTube, you need to see this picture, first of all, because it's just going to get you jacked up. We got to talk about this guy. Please leave that up for the whole segment.
For the whole segment? No, they want to see our face.
Here's the deal. This is a very polarizing situation. That picture by itself is polarizing. People love him. People hate him. That, my friend, is Alex Jones. Now, the reason why I'm bringing it up on Plausible Foolishness, because here's the deal. Though we agree on a lot of things, me and Matt represent two sides of the same pie. Maybe I don't know. It is what it is. I happen to love InfoWars. Now, do I agree with the turning the frogs gay and the interdimensional travel and all this stuff of Alex Jones? No, that's a great picture. But here's the thing about Alex Jones. As crazy as he is, he has predicted a lot of things coming true. Now, is that just throwing spaghetti at the wall, trying to make things happen? Probably. Very plausible. Could be foolishness. The guy could just have some really good inside sources. Who knows? But he had a beat on the Trump thing from jump. Literally, he had that from jump. He predicted Brexit from the beginning. And he's brought light to a lot of the swamp things that are going on in Washington. So that's a positive. Now, the interdimensional travel and, whatever, New World Order stuff, you can believe it or hate it, whatever you want to. But it's ironic that this week he got deplatformed from YouTube, the thing we're using now, Facebook and Apple, for what is quote-unquote hate speech. And I am laughing my butt off at the people who are applauding the burning of Alex Jones. Because here's the funny thing. If they're coming for Alex Jones and they're going to deplatform this guy in a free country, imagine what they're going to do down the road. Because this is 2018. Things don't get progressively better. They tend to get progressively worse. And as we go down the road, there's going to be more and more censorship. Tommy Robbins is an example over in England. He just got released. Did you see he got released and stuff like that finally? He was imprisoned just for showing up and broadcasting the truth. And here's the deal. People perceive that Alex Jones is telling lies. Doesn't really matter if you believe him or not. Alex Jones is entitled to say what he wants to say because this is a free country. And to use platforms like YouTube, Facebook, or Apple, they're completely in their rights as companies to take him off. Mm-hmm. But here's the problem. At some point, those platforms are supposed to be open exchanges of ideas other than things that incite, incite whatever violence and stuff like that. He didn't call for violence against people. He didn't call for the death of whatever. He just speaks his opinions, and they have unpopular opinions. And they picked this guy. You got to put that picture back up. Turn the frogs gay. Like fluoride. Like they're picking this guy to crucify because nobody wants to touch him with a 10-foot pole. But here's the problem. When they start coming after him for quote-unquote hate speech, they're going to start coming after your free speech. It is complete foolishness to think otherwise.
Yeah,
period. Sorry, I just got to say that.
Glenn Beck put it a really good way. That is it really free speech if nobody can hear you?
Ooh.
If you've been restricted to the point where no one can hear you.
Yep.
Now no one has to listen to you.
Exactly.
But if no one can even hear you, that's not free speech anymore.
Not even close.
Granted, the Second Amendment only protects us from the government infringing on our rights.
Yep.
But
just because it's legal doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
Just because it's legal doesn't make it right.
Exactly.
Abortion's legal, but does it make it right?
It's very wrong.
Being a prostitute in Vegas is legal, but does it make it right? You know what I mean? Like, there are things that we're allowed to do that aren't necessarily right. But to attack this guy, because he happens to be a white guy and he has a big platform, he has a big audience. He has a bigger audience than CNN. That's why they went after him in the first place. Just my opinion. This is conjecture. But they go after this guy because he has such a big platform. And they don't like the fact that he's kicking people's butts, and they deplatform this guy. But Louis Farrakhan right now is allowed to say what he needs to say on all these same platforms.
Yeah, and he says abominable things.
That Jews need to die and all this stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But they don't go after Louis Farrakhan. That's kind of weird. Because the war of ideas will win out. Most of the country's not listening to Louis Farrakhan. The reason why they're silencing him is because people are listening to him. That's what it comes down to. Like, I always talk about this stuff all the time. Like, I love it when people talk about it. And in this analogy, I'm not comparing. I want to confess to you before I do this. Because I got to warn you. I don't always warn him about what I'm about to say. So I just kind of run with it. I'm not comparing Alex Jones.
And I will not restrict his
free speech.
His freedom of speech.
Thank you so much. I'm not comparing Alex Jones to Jesus Christ. I am not. Okay? But I always think it's hilarious when people are like, oh, Jesus he's just a nice guy. He's just a nice guy. They don't kill threats, people. Let me repeat that. They don't kill like they don't kill nice guys. They kill threats.
Yeah.
They do not kill nice guys. If you're just a nice guy playing along and playing by the rules, they will never come after you. You won't have critics if you're doing this the nice way. But if you speak truth and you're a threat, you get crucified. Gee, I wonder why the nice guy Jesus got crucified. Because he was a threat. Jones is getting crucified, not because he's the Lord and Savior and the way, the truth, the light, get saved if you haven't done it already. But when you start speaking to a place where you are a threat, that's when they come after you. They don't come after Louis Farrakhan because he's not a threat. There is nothing about him that's threatening. If he was that big of a threat, like people would be trying to overturn the government and go after Jews like they did in Nazi. But nobody listens to Louis Farrakhan. He's not a threat. Alex Jones is a threat because half the stuff he says might be a little bit true, might be a little bit plausible. Who knows? I don't know. Besides the fluoride and the gay frogs, I don't know. Whatever. But the reality of the situation is this. They don't attack you if you're a nice guy, and they don't attack you if you're not a threat. They come after you when you're a threat. They might come after us one day because we might be a threat, because we're going to blow up faster than the universe. We're going to have a big studio. We're going to be rocking and rolling. We're going to be telling the truth the way it is. We'll be answering the Rubes questions and the buffoons on our Facebook Live, and you should be on YouTube. We'll get all that stuff going. But they attack threats. As crazy as all you people say Alex Jones is, and oh, he's so crazy, and he's making a really big impact. And that's why they came after him. Sorry, I had to do it.
I mean, I think that's undeniable. He's got such a huge following.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's insane.
Of course.
But
listen, that's plausible.
Well,
plausible.
I actually don't think he's insane. I think he's, in many ways, he's a charlatan. But
of course.
But the other side of it is that he's not the only show on that network.
I know.
And there's plenty of other people on that network that aren't charlatans.
AKA like Paul Joseph Watson. If you haven't checked out Paul Joseph Watson, you're high. Like anybody who's serious about actual logic. Remember we talked about this at the beginning, kids. Logic is like part of truth. It delineates truth. Paul Joseph Watson is an amazing voice on that bad boy. As much as he annoys me, Owen Schroyer is not terrible. He's very condescending and very I wouldn't say he's petulant. I would just say that he's condescending. I'll just say that. You know what I mean? But he speaks the truth too. Jones is crazy. He's trying to sell vitamins and T-shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. But guess what? Everybody's got to make money.
And there's people who claim, and I think rightly so, that he makes a bad name for conservatives because he does these crazy things.
I don't think he would claim himself as a conservative, though. I think that he.
Yeah, but he's
followed by conservatives.
Well, he's followed by conservatives, and he's just an easy target that they can put. Alex Jones, crazy conservative.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's true, whether or not he would label themselves, they do it all the time.
Yeah. They put him in that box.
But that's the thing. That's the other side of that coin. They do it all the time. So there's no getting away from it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that he's out there.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, we still need to hear what he has to say. We all need to be aware of what people are saying. We need to hear what Louis Farrakhan is saying, as evil as it is.
Yeah.
So we need to know what he's about. Not working in the shadows working in the shadows, doing and planning horrible things.
Yeah.
It's better that he's in the light. It's better that all of this is in the light, and that's what we've been saying since the dawn of the country.
It's the beautiful thing about free speech.
Yeah, that's what free speech is for. It's for the speech that you don't like, and that I don't like, and that he doesn't like. It doesn't matter that you don't like it.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, because you are going to say something and somebody else doesn't like. And then what?
Well, it's hate speech now.
Yeah, and now you're in jail.
Everybody's silenced. You know? Silence everybody.
The times change. The times do change. But, truth and our principles shouldn't get thrown out with the bathwater.
Well, unless you're on the left, it moves every 2 seconds.
Well, it has to, because they're just playing the power game.
Logic.
They're just playing the power game.
Logic. Liberal logic.
They just don't recognize the power of absolute truth.
Yeah. It's like when... the funny thing is, I think it's funny. There's a YouTube video of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and they all talk about how they need to be tough on the borders. This was like literally 10 years ago, and how they were against same-sex marriage, and now they've shifted the goalposts as things keep going on. And the reality is this, guys, I get it. There is no such thing as absolute truth for liberals. There's no such thing as logic for liberals. So to tote the idea of morality, logic, and still be liberal is foolish. It's not even plausible. It's just straight foolish. It's buffoonery. But my point is this. At some point, we all have to agree on something as American citizens. And I know that right now on the left, this is an unpopular idea and I love it that they're talking about socialism. Please keep talking about socialism. We want more exposure to socialism so people actually understand what it is. And we point to Venezuela. And I'm glad that the liberal parties finally own the fact that they want to be socialist. That's great, because we need to hear those ideas. As stupid as they are, I won't even say foolish, complete buffoonery that it is, we need to hear that idea so that the American people can decide if they want this slavery or if they want freedom. And here's the thing. We've agreed for a long time to have freedom based on this little thing, this little article called the Constitution. And if we can't agree on the Constitution, we're in deep doo-doo, as they say. If we can't get number one right, which is free speech, that's an issue. And when you're being silenced and muzzled and censored, which is true, this is what's happening, it gets really ugly really fast. It's just like we talked about last week with the plastic guns and stuff like that. If you start attacking amendments left and right, guess what? There is chaos, and then it becomes socialism really quickly, really fast. And it's good for all ideas to be heard. You don't have to believe every idea. Every day I'm told about some big bang that happened. It's completely foolishness if you actually look at science, but it's good to hear so that I can expose my children to this stupidity or evolution and complete lack of evidence for evolution, which is hilarious if you actually do some scientific research. It's a ridiculous idea, but I'm glad I'm exposed to it because then I can debunk it and put holes in it. Does this make sense? Even if Alex Jones is crazy, you can debunk whatever you want to, which is ironic. The gay frog study is actually a Stanford study. But sorry, I'm not blind. But you can make fun of whatever you want to with it. That's fine. But you got to hear these ideas. You got to hear them even from charlatans. Heck, I mean, Joel Osteen has a platform every single week, and he is a charlatan. He does not speak for the gospel whatsoever. Oprah has him on all the time. He's a charlatan. But we need to hear Joel Osteen to hear what the gospel is not. That's called free speech. That's what we're doing on Plausible Foolishness. This is what the Patreons that keep helping us out and shelling money out our way. We appreciate you, Patreons, for helping us do. Because if we're squandered, if our free speech is squandered, guess what? You may like it because it's a guy you don't like, but guess what happens to your kids 20 years from now when they get silenced and they try to tell truth? You ain't going to like it then. You're definitely going to not like it when they come for you. And they will, because that's the reality of the situation. But I digress.
Like I said, the times change, so eventually
they're going to come for
something that they're saying, these people who are trying to lock down free speech, eventually what they say is going to fall out of fashion.
Yep.
And then they'll be up a creek without a paddle.
Oops. And here's the thing that I think it's funny is the battle against white people. That's what it is. Let's get real with ourselves. Like, the liberals just are against white people.
Well, race is an easy
white
divider.
Guilt. Yeah, race.
It's an easy divider.
And
divide and conquer, you know?
And people fall for the white guilt. So there's enough lunatic liberals on that side that will believe this stuff. They're eventually going to eat their own. They eventually will come after every white person. What is it? What's her face? Pocahontas just said that our government's corrupt on all levels. What's her name? Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah,
Elizabeth Warren said that it's racist on all levels.
She frightens me.
And she's white.
I'm not gonna lie. Of all the politicians out there, for some reason, man,
Why?
I feel like she's a true believer.
Yeah.
I feel like she really
believes
this stuff.
Do you think that she can stand toe to toe with Trump?
Well, no, but she's not going to try.
She's probably going to wait till the next time.
She's going to wait till the next time, and then
Marco Rubio's going to get crucified. So yeah,
and I think that she just.
No, they are true believers.
Well,
because they'd have no logic. Remember logic. We're talking about that on Facebook Live.
There's those who want power. You know, like the Clintons. So they'll say whatever.
The Clintons, no, they were for people, man.
They want power.
They were for black people, and they incarcerated more people.
No, they're not.
You know,
they want power.
They're for the Haitians too, right?
I feel like Elizabeth Warren. You know, though she's pulled, crap to claiming to be a Native American to get into college. She's pulled crap like that. I think she feels it's completely justified because she really believes in the socialist utopia.
Yeah.
I think for like Hillary and Bill,
they didn't believe
leftist politics. They knew it was junk, but this was the way to
power.
Yeah, to power. For her, I think she is like.
She believes it.
She believes it.
She's like Obama. She's just like Obama.
Yeah.
Except for Obama was better at hiding his intention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obama was just really... To this day, people think that, I don't know if you saw that the meme, but CNN accidentally did journalism this week and showed the actual numbers of like Obama versus Trump, and the numbers are categorically impossible to deny at this point that Trump's doing a better job than Obama. But Obama's just better. He was just better at hiding the numbers. His approval rating at the same time this time was like 45%, which is still like 5% higher than Trump across the board. But he did terrible things to our economy, terrible things to our country. But people loved it because he's a smooth talker and he plays basketball.
Yeah.
And he's cool.
It was
cool,
an interesting
like,
dynamic during his administration was that the policies were like enormously disliked.
Yeah.
When you talked about the individual policies, people did not like them at all.
Yeah, but he was scandal-free.
But then he still had great approval ratings.
Of course.
Because he came off as a guy that you'd like to have a beer with.
Exactly.
I didn't want to have a beer with him. I thought he was arrogant.
Yeah.
I thought he was insanely arrogant, but
he was smooth.
But it was smooth, and it was under that veneer. You had to scratch away a little bit to see the arrogance.
One might say a cult of personality.
Oh yeah.
One might say that.
Definitely.
So
without a doubt.
So he literally lies to the American people. The scandal-free president that was the best president of all time by some people's opinion, lied to the American people and said, if you like your doctor, you can keep it. That was a lie. Fast and Furious, which he supplied,
guns to the cartels to try and track the flow of guns, and then they lost them all.
He did a midnight drop to Iran of was it $1 trillion or something like that with the Iran deal? The thing is,
no, it wasn't $1 trillion. It was many billions.
Yes. The scandal-free president, but he made it all sound good, and now we're mad at the guy who actually does positive things for the country, but they just don't like the way he says it. What do you want, people? And we've said this before on the show. Do you want the slick politician that does nothing and hurts you, or do you want the guy that is like your Uncle Joe that you really don't like what he says, but he does the right thing? I don't know. It's completely up to you, but that's a shifting logical thing for the left. I really don't get it, but. The way it's going, the goalpost is going after conservatives, and eventually they're going to eat their own and come after themselves.
Well, I mean, we've seen it before. We saw it on the campus of Mizzou.
Yep, exactly. I mean, they're coming out. I mean, it's hilarious.
They want to incite a race war, but these intellectuals want to incite a race war.
That they're not going to fight.
No, they're going to die. They're going to be the first to die.
Yeah. Well,
in a real. If I'm talking, if it's a real thing, if this is a real revolutionary, overthrow.
Yeah.
They'll be the first to go because that's what we've seen happen in all of the real revolutionary overthrows. They get rid of they use a certain class. It's just like the brown coats and Nazi. I mean, they weren't the intellectuals.
And in Russia, they did the same thing.
But
they killed the professors first.
Yeah, they kill them because they're the thought leaders.
Yep.
And so they'll use them to a certain point, and then they'll get rid of them because then they become a threat.
But time out. The socialists would agree with that, though, because what Russia did is great. What China did is great. What Venezuela did was great. And that's the thing. Is the problem is this is the problem with liberal logic. When you throw logic out, you also throw history out. You know what I mean? The only history that they want to focus on is slavery, but they're missing out on all the failed attempts of socialism throughout the world. And they think just because it's America, it's going to be better.
It's never implemented right, my friend.
It's never implemented right because the idea is flawed. It can't be
implemented right.
Listen, there's no way of correctly implementing injecting yourself with heroin. I'm sorry. It will screw you up. It will kill you eventually. There's no good way of putting heroin in your body. It's just a bad idea.
Not even like sprinkled on my sandwich.
No. It's just bad. It's instantly addictive. It's terrible for you. But I get it. This is liberal logic. It kind of shifts, because Asian people can make fun of white people, but white people can't make fun of anybody.
Well, listen,
Alex
buddy.
Jones can't talk.
Listen, buddy.
This is what it is.
Listen here, buddy.
What?
Utopia is just around the corner.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
The ends justify the means.
Yeah, so here's the deal for you rubes out there and you buffoons. There's going to be no utopia until we're dead and gone and when Christ establishes his kingdom. Read it in the Bible. It's pretty awesome. But the closest thing that we've gotten to that on this earth is the greatest country of all time. And you live in it. You are reaping the benefits of it if you're listening to what we're doing right now. We're on tons of platforms right now hearing what we have to say, and we're reaping the benefits because we agree on one thing, which is the Constitution of the United States of America. The moment you throw that away for some crappy idea that doesn't work, that's like giving up. That's like giving up bread for heroin. It just doesn't work. It's like giving up manna for heroin. And the reality of the situation is it always sounds good until you're addicted to it, and then it's too late. The reality of the situation is, guys, you may not like bread all the time, but it keeps you alive, and it doesn't keep you addicted. So does the Constitution. It keeps us free. It keeps us alive. It keeps this economy going. And it keeps the benefits of America going. And at the end of the day, kind of works out pretty well. That's what I think. But could be plausible, could be foolishness. What do you think, Big Dog?
I think you're right.
Man, put that thing up, man. I'm jacked up. So here's the deal. If you've not... Here's the biggest thing. I'm going to get on my soapbox here, okay? You need to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and share us everywhere. Because here's the deal. What's going to help us is sharing. And the other thing that you can do is subscribe to our YouTube so you can get the updated channel from us. You can get the live stream and be notified at all times. Guys, if you like what we're saying, even if you hate what we're saying, subscribe to us because we're actually real people. We're not, funded by big companies. We're not funded by anybody else. We're funded by the rubes that are out there helping us out on Patreon. If you haven't sponsored us or you haven't been a Patreon with us, do it as soon as possible. But we can do this content for you guys. We can speak some truth in the echo chambers of, against Fox News and CNN and all these crazy places. We're going to give you truth from two normal dudes from good old Orlando. Oh, wait, should we not say where we're from? We're taking over the world.
We've already done it a million times.
I know, they know. They can find us. They're using the technology. They're coming to fluoride. So the reality of the situation is this. See, I can make fun of the guy. I love the guy, but I also know he's crazy. It's great. The fluoride. They're coming. But guys, make sure you support us on Patreon. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Share us everywhere. Check us out on Instagram. Thank you for all the people that have joined us on Instagram. Our Instagram is doubled in the last 2 weeks, which is awesome. Our money's doubled, which is awesome from our Patreons. I love it. We're growing. We're getting stronger, as my shirt shows with the flex guns. We want to bring you more content like this. We want to help you.
It's all about the U.
It's all about Notre Dame and then the U. We need to do a college football special on Plausible.
Yeah, we can do that.
We need to do a special. Kick off
really,
some weeks,
I should have my brother up here. He's a college football.
Oh, we could totally talk about that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Jim Trustle's getting in trouble for somebody else beating his wife. But yeah, did you hear about that?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Don't worry about it. Check it out on ESPN. We don't cover it on Plausible. But we talk about relevant things that are going to impact you. We believe in this stuff because
wrestling.
And wrestling. And wrestling.
Wrestling is awesome.
And wrestling.
And the occasional movie.
Yeah.
We talk about whatever we want to talk about. Deal with it.
Yeah, whatever we want. But this is stuff that we think is important that's going to I think impact the world. What do you think?
I mean,
change the world.
Definitely.
Any final thoughts, my friend?
Protect your free speech. Protect your neighbor's free speech.
Yeah.
And
even if you don't agree with them.
Even if you don't agree with
them.
Even
if he's white.
That is, oh gosh.
Or a Christian.
Oh.
Or a male.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Yeah.
And straight.
No.
What?
Yeah. If the the Bible says, love your enemies. That's probably the hardest thing you can do. One way to love your enemies, protect his right to speech.
What? Even if you don't agree with it?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Because that's how you love them.
Crazy.
That's how you love them.
Crazy.
It's one way.
Yeah.
There's many ways.
My final thought's really simple. They kill threats, guys. They go after threats.
You go after threats.
They go after threats. They don't go. They ignore crazy men. They ignore Louis Farrakhan's. They ignore that stuff. They come after threats.
But you know what? Don't be afraid to be a threat.
Don't be afraid. Move the needle, man. Fear not, for I am with thee, says the Lord. So I'm. Hey, man, it has been plausible. There's been a lot of plausible.
It's one of those absolute truths.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
people don't believe that on the left.
So what?
Hey, man. It's been,
So what?
So what? Truth doesn't care about your feels. Man, it's been plausible, man, and I would say it's been a little bit foolishness, but if you've been listening long enough, I think you kind of see both, and we appreciate everybody who's been watching Plausible Foolishness, man. We'll see you next week. Peace out, rubes. We're cutting the live feed on Facebook. See you guys. Bye. I love it. I think I explained that one pretty well anyways. What do you mean? Like, conservatives, they're not using logic. Of course they're not using logic. That's why it's wrong. But hold on, let me pull this up. Let me see these comments. Oh, this is for my other thing. I don't even pay attention to that stuff. There's a lot of plausible.
One of those absolute truths.
Absolutely no.
Yeah.
I don't believe that on the left.
So what?
Hey, man. It's
So what?
I love it. All right, man.
You're
Afro Man?
What's that?
Were you singing Iron Man? I am Iron Man?
No. No, I was singing I got the BtE song in my head.
Okay, oh jeez. There's more. I missed more. Dang it.
What was it?
What bitterness. Oh, this is good. This is good.
In my life. So logic is not universal truth. It is closer to a set of rules that justify your actions. No. Logic is a set of rules that we apply in the search for truth, for universal truth.
Yeah, let's see. Definition. Logic, definition, reasoning, are conducted or asserted according to a strict principles of validity. One might say, let's see.
Oh, did we not end the stream? Forgot. And